Hello friends, my name is Vinod and welcome to i-RAS YouTube channel. Thanks for your overwhelming support to our videos. You guys are liking our videos. Thank you from team i-RAS. There were some errors in our economic videos where I included road and bridges in the revenue expenditure, but they are part of capital expenditure. In science and technology video, instead of cryptocurrency, I have written cryptography. Thanks to our viewer Rajnish Chaudhary ji and Begum Gumarga ji. Today we will be discussing RS Mains 2021 GS paper 3 unit 2, that is public administration model answers. We are doing RS Mains 2021 solution series. In this we have completed discussion on RS Mains General Studies paper 1, paper 2 and paper 3 unit 1. These links are available in the description box. Syllabus of public administration somewhere overlapping with the syllabus of polity. Here it is syllabus. Pause the video and have a look. Here is our first question, which says what is the difference between unity of command and unity of direction. Unity of command says that one subordinate should receive orders from one boss only. You may see in the district administration, district collector used to give orders to various people, such as it used to give orders to the SP, to the health department, municipality, etc. However, they have a respective their bosses, such as health department or hospital are supervised with the chief medical officers, right? So unity of command says that one subordinate should receive orders from one boss only. If there will be a multiple bosses, there will be contradiction. Okay, whereas unity of direction says that each group of activities should have one head and one plan. I mean, though there are different departments in a district administration, say for example police department, say for example health department, education department, etc. Goal is one, which is good governance, which is welfare of public at large. So unity of direction says each group of activities should have one head and one plan. Unity of direction avoid overlapping of activities, whereas unity of command, it avoids dual subordination. I mean, one subordinate cannot be supervised by two supervisors or two bosses. It will create a contradiction. It will affect individual employee productivity. Unity of command. Each employee has one and only one boss or commander. In other words, a subordinate must report to only one superior. Too many cooks spoil the soup. I mean, they will think that some salt was missing. Next cook will come and says that some pepper is lacking. So too many cooks spoil the soup. Whereas unity of direction says, here you can say they have a similar direction. They don't have a multiple direction. They have a similar goal. They have a similar ambition to achieve. Next question, explain managerial view about nature of administration. This view was propounded by Luther Gulick. According to managerial view of administration, the managerial activities of people who are involved in planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating and controlling constitute public administration. This view regards administration as getting things done, not doing things. I mean, managerial view of administration, main goal is to getting things done. They are not meant to do the things. They supervise the things and they will getting things done by their subordinate or by some other people. Their main work is used to planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, controlling, etc. This view was supported by Luther Gulick. Next question. What is vote on account? Basically, it is a polity question also. They have included in public administration. This comes in economics also. So let's see what is vote on account. Vote on account is the interim permission of the parliament to the government to spend money. It is a grant in advance for the central government to meet short-term expenditure needs for the Consolidated Fund of India under Article 116. Basically, vote on account was needed when the next general election are due. For example, in May, there is a general election due. So, the present government cannot present a full-fledged budget. However, they required some funds to sustain, to run the government for meantime till the general election results are declared. So, the meantime for 2 or 3 months they required the expenditure. So, to spend those expenditure, to withdraw those money from consolidated fund, the government needs the permission of parliament, and that permission known as vote on account. There is a difference between vote on account and full budget. Vote on account deals only with the expenditure side. They only require permission to spend the money for the meantime from the till the general election results are declared. In full budget, it deals with expenditure and revenue side both. It usually for 2 months or 3 months, it usually for a year. Define corporate social responsibility, CSR. So, CSR referred to as a corporate initiative to assess and take responsibility of the company's effect on the environment. You know, every company uses society's resources, be it labor, be it land, be it forest, be it crude oil, be it anything. They use society's resources. So, they have a moral responsibility towards society. This responsibility, this moral obligation known as corporate social responsibility. However, in Companies Act 2013, it got mandatory, it got statutory recognition. It is binding in India, CSR, to contribute. I mean, X amount, if a company is earning X profit or X turnover, it has to spend some X percentage of its profit on CSR activities such as educational, rural development, environment sustainability, disaster relief, sanitation, etc. Next question, what is formal delegation? You know, delegation means transferring authority to subordinate to doing certain work. You know, according to Mooney, delegation means conferring of specified authority by a higher to lower authority, right? However, what is a formal delegation? Formal delegation, when manifested in written rules or by laws or orders. I mean, delegation with some written rules by some bylaws or orders is known as a formal delegation. Here is you have a 100% authority, you have delegated 27% to this, 18% to this, 20% to this, 6% and 29%. This is known as a delegation. Next, mention various forms of judicial control over administration. You know, administration is also supervised, also controlled by judiciary. Let's see how. Judiciary ensures proper functioning of administration according to the law and the constitution, right? How? By way of judicial review. Under Article 13, if any law or any order contravenes with fundamental rights, it stands null and void. So, through this court examine the legality and constitutionality of administrative acts of official, executive orders and legislative enactments. If they found that these laws are unconstitutional, they will stand null and void. Next, statutory appeal. Citizen will have a right to appeal to the courts provided in several statutes. Example, right of information. You know, when we file an application of right to information, if the PIO, if we are not satisfied with the PIO answer, we can file to the first appellate authority. If we are not satisfied by Their answer we can file to the Information Commission. If we are not satisfied by the reply of Information Commission, we can go to the courts also. I mean, they are provided in the Right to Information Act 2005. So they have a statutory appeal also. Constitutional remedies under Article 32, such as Mandamus. Mandamus means command. If a public official fails to perform an act which is a part of his public duty and thereby violates the right of an individual, he will be commanded to perform the act through his writ. I mean, they can issue by Supreme Court as well as the High Court under Article 32 and Article 2 to 6 respectively. Next one, other judicial controls such as rule of law, constitution, equality before law, and various laws in the country. Thus, in a democracy, the primary objective of judicial system is to ensure citizens' right. Next question, list major differences between conventional and development administration. Conventional use means traditional development, traditional administration. So this difference given by SP Verma and S.K. Sharma. So let's see what are the differences of this. In conventional administration, it is a regulatory administration, routine operation, whereas development unpredictable, new tasks or problems in every day, rapidly changing environment. You don't know what is the problem a citizen of a district is facing. There may be problem, they may be different problem, they may be vary to person. Next one, oriented towards efficiency and economy, emphasis on individual performance, whereas development focuses on relation oriented towards organizational growth and effectiveness in achievements of goals. Development administration is a modern concept. It oriented towards organizational growth rather than individual growth. If an organization is efficient, its individual will also be efficient. Sharp and elaborative hierarchical structure, strict and authoritative in conventional administration, whereas in development administration, structure shaped by requirements of goals, flexibility and continuously changing roles. Example, i-RAS, sometimes they become district administrator, sometimes they become secretary to department, sometimes they had some PSU, etc. Conventional administration is a centralized decision making, past experience as the main guide to problem solving, whereas in the developmental administration, wide sharing decision making, empirical approach to problem solving, use of improved aids to decision making. I mean, they use innovative ways to address the problem. Next question, differentiate between secretariat and directorate. Secretariat means a place where policies are formulated, concerned with the policy making, whereas directorate concerned with the policy execution. We have a secretariat, then we have a directorate. Secretariat used to formulate the policy, then directorate used to execute those policy on the ground. Secretariat usually have a single in state or country. You can see, for example, in Rajasthan, we have one secretariat that is in Jaipur. In the country, we have only one central secretariat in New Delhi. Likewise, every state have their own respective secretariat. Whereas the directorate may be multiple. For example, Directorate of Education, Directorate of Health, etc. Secretariat usually headed by a chief secretary, which is also known as a cabinet secretary. Whereas a directorate, there are multiple directorates, so they have multiple directors as well, headed by a director. Secretariat is a staff agency. What is a staff agency? Staff agencies help the chief executive by providing all necessary information such as data, advice, assistant, counsel and support services. Whereas a directorate is regarded as a line agencies performing the function that directly contribute to the achievement of primary or main purpose of the government. Basically, staff agency used to help in formulation of the policy, whereas the line agency used to help in executing the policy. Next question, analyze the impact of lateral entry system in higher civil services. Lateral entry means when personnel from the private sector are selected to an administrative post of the government by way of interviews and not by a conventional recruitment method is known as a lateral entry system. There is a merit of this and there is a demerit also. Let's see the merit. Highly skilled. You know, the corporate sector individual are based on, are very skillful, are very motivated individuals. They are minimized. This lateral entry system will minimize the shortage of officers. It will bring a change in work culture. It was recommended by the second ARC also. Where is a demerit? Like a profit motive versus public services, because corporate sectors are motivated by profit at any cost. But in the administration, the main goal of administration is the welfare of public at large. So demerit will be conflict of interest, ambiguous process of recruitment, affect the existing balance of officers. The existing officer will think that I have recruited by proper channel and still I am behind those officers which are recruited directly at the joint secretary post. Famous example of lateral entry system are Dr. Manmohan Singh, Vimal Jalan, etc. Discuss the jurisdiction of Lokayukta in Rajasthan. You know, Lokayukta is the authority which ensures curbing of corruption and maladministration against public servants. It is an independent institution whose jurisdiction extends to the whole of state of Rajasthan. However, following public servants come under its jurisdiction, such as public secretaries, head of the state, mayors, i-RAS, etc. However, following are the under which are not under the purview of the Lokayukta, which are Chief Justice of a High Court or Judges of Rajasthan High Court, CM of Rajasthan, Accountant General of Rajasthan, Rajasthan Assembly's official and staff are not under the purview of Lokayukta, which means Lokayukta cannot initiate any investigation against those officers which are mentioned here. Evaluate the salient features of Rajasthan Right to Hearing Act 2012. Right to Hearing Act is a legislation which entitles the citizen to a time-bound legal remedy to their grievances over government services. This act mandates that every citizen of Rajasthan will have a right to hearing. Under this Right to Hearing Act, all government officials shall be bound to dispose the complaint within a stipulated time period, failing which action shall be initiated against them an amount of 500 to 5,000 rupees of fine will be deducted from their salaries with disciplinary action. The main feature of Right to Hearing Act are provision of citizen to get an opportunity to hearing their grievance near their residence, like Gram Panchayat, Tehsil, subdivision or district collector, district level. So they don't need to travel far to redressal their grievances. For example, they have a grievances pertaining to some certificate. So their grievances will be heard in their Gram Panchayat only. It shall be mandatory to hear the complaint and dispose them within a stipulated time. Public hearing officers and appellate authorities have been formed. The complainant has the right to appeal up to 2 levels if he is dissatisfied by the decision of public hearing officers. Public hearing officers have to dispose the complaint within 15 days, and if the complaint is rejected, the reason must be stating in writing. He has to give a reason in writing that why he rejected this application, so that the complainant can appeal to the second appellate or so on. The first appellate against the decision of public hearing officer has to be disposed within 21 days. Thus, the desert state is the first one to ensure the right to hearing for the common man. In Rajasthan, right to hearing is statutory right of the people. Next question: the aim of good governance and morality in civil services can be achieved through following the Gandhi's 7 social sins concept. Analyze. You know, Gandhi gave this 7 social sins. He wrote this 7 social sins in the monthly journal Young India. So what are the 7 deadly sins of modern times by Mahatma Gandhi, wealth without work, pleasure without conscience, science without humanity, knowledge without character, politics without principle, commerce without morality, and worship without sacrifice. A person cannot do right in one department while attempting to do wrong in another department. Life is one invisible whole. So, wealth without work. Wealth without work refers to people desirous of having wealth without doing any efforts. This can only be accumulated by way of corruption. If people want wealth without work, they have to do corruption. Next one, pleasure without conscience. Pleasure without conscience result in an empty world inside people's heart, just like spending money without charity. If you want pleasure, you have to be conscious of the consequences of that pleasure. You like to eat some junk food, but you may have a deadly consequences of eating junk food or otherwise. So, knowledge without character. Knowledge should not be used for something bad, such as to fire a building. People have the potential, thus the character is to set to make sure that the knowledge will be used wisely and for an appropriate and good time. You know, world has created nuclear bomb. So, and nuclear bomb have been used on Japan also. So, knowledge without character is also sin. Commerce, business without morality, ethics. To decide some plans in a business, environment, society, even the rival should be considered as a factor to do the business. I mean, while doing commerce, while doing business, one has to look after the environment, the consequences of its business on the environment, on the society at large. Science without humanity. We heard of cloning, bomb, deadly mutant virus. All this come back to the people themselves. We have created those things and now they are threat to our lives. Why? Because science without humanity. Science should be developed for peace and disease-free planet, not for some kind of cloning, bomb, etc. Religion without sacrifice. We need to sacrifice something in order to do the command of our own religion. We should pray, love, and serve people. Next one, politics without principle. Politics without principle is just like a losing direction. There are likely chances of self-service and corruption. Politics should be of some principles. For example, in the parliament, there should be a concept of constructive criticism. Opposition should be allowed to speak with their constructive ideas. Hence, so as to build a healthy and moral mind, and for good governance, we should go for a change by keeping ourselves away from the seven sins of man. Next question, analyze the role of district collector vis-a-vis the superintendent of police in maintaining the law and order in a district. You know, district collector also functions as a district magistrate. While he is acting as a district magistrate, he is a head of the police department also. He has the responsible for the maintaining the law and order. After the separation of judiciary from the executive, the collector is concerned with the preventive section of the criminal procedure, which is CRPC. As a DM, he is head of the police administration of the district. In this function, SP, who is head of the police for district, help the collector in discharge of his police function. In all important matter, the superintendent of police takes order from the collector. I mean, collector is a kind of a policy formulator, whereas the SP is a kind of executor of those policy. SP maintain following for the maintenance of the law and order with the concurrence of district collector. For example, to keep the district peaceful and the public satisfied with the security afforded the person and property, to ensure that the transport, arms and ammunition, stores and building belonging to the department are maintained in good condition, to ensure by consistent supervision that the prevention, investigation and detection of crime in his district are properly and efficiently dealt with by the force under his command, Both are complementary to each other. District Magistrate and Superintendent of Police are complementary to each other. For example, District Collector imposes Section 144, which is prohibit gathering of 4 or more people in the area. But the execution of this is done by SP of the district through its policy machinery. Thus, both District Collector as well as the Superintendent of Police are necessary to maintain the law and order in the district. This brings to end of this discussion. If you think that the content is useful, then please like and subscribe, share with your friends. If you not like the video, please tell us where we can improve. It will be huge favor to us. Sun loses nothing by providing sunlight. Your subscribes and likes matter a lot. Thank you for your time and patience. See you in the next video. Jai Hind.